Hello and welcome back. Hello everyone. It's nice to be back here on YouTube again. Streamed a couple of times on Twitch recently. It's not the same. Don't think I like it. Thank you all for joining me. I see there's a few people in chat. We'll flip over there in just a second, say hello to a few familiar faces. And I thought I'd just outline what this evening is going to be about. So a couple of weeks ago, we had the Ubuntu MATE team had a planning meeting for the upcoming 2104 cycle, and we agreed a few things we were going to try and get done for Ubuntu MATE 2104. And some of the team expressed an interest in learning more about how to update and modify some of the existing packages that we have so that they could play a greater role in sort of the maintenance of the distribution. So I thought this evening we would start with a dedicated video just updating our artwork package, because it's the simplest package we have. It has the least complex Debian stuff in it, so it's a great one to just cover off how you add a new wallpaper. And what that would also mean is that the rest of the team could potentially run wallpaper competitions and things of that nature and update the wallpapers for themselves with the winning entries. So that's just an idea of how this may be useful in the future. But anyone else interested in, getting to grips with Debian packaging, this is sort of level 1 stuff. This is as easy as it gets. We're not going to create a new package. We're going to update an existing package that's very simply organized. And these artwork packages are fairly similar across the Ubuntu flavors. So, if your favorite Ubuntu is, Xubuntu or Lubuntu, you'll probably be able to find that you could contribute in a similar way there, should they have the need to. So let's bring in the chat and say hello to a few people. So welcome back, Lothar and Blue Freaker and Dominic. Dominic, right, okay, so that's the Ferren Dev. Hello. Hey Sneaky, welcome back. Yes, it's been a while since I've been here. I think it's a couple of months since I did my last stream on YouTube. Have streamed a couple of times on Twitch since for a game night, and then I was testing the GPD WinMax with the new version of Ubuntu MATE we made for that. So I actually used that to play some games and live streamed the results and did some benchmarking. That was quite good fun. Welcome back, Philip and our podcast and Andy Hazen. Hello, Monica. Welcome back. And Durak, is that? Hello, good evening. Welcome. If you are lurking in chat and you haven't said hello, do introduce yourself. It's always nice to get to know everyone that stops by. So I've made some notes over here that I'll be referring to. I had to do a little bit of research for one of the things we're going to do. Good evening, Jorian. Welcome to the stream. So how do we get started? I think I'll just outline what we're going to try and do. And also, when this stream finishes, I'm going to hop into our Discord. The Wimpy's World Discord is now where stuff to do with this channel goes on, but also it's where the live chat for Ubuntu MATE is. So the Ubuntu MATE team are there, the MATE desktop team are there. There's user chat and discussion things and what have you, and you can also see some of what's going on with the development through the bots we've got hooked up. So you'll find a link in the link below. Join there, and after this stream is finished, I'll be jumping into the community center voice chat. So if you've got any follow-on questions, we can handle those there afterwards. Good evening, New World Leader. Oh my goodness, get you our podcast. You've got a new DLSR. Very, very good. Very nice choice you've made there as well. Those Sonys are excellent. Hello, Jonathan. Welcome back. Right then. Let's have a think then. Let's hop into this here. So let's actually highlight the right tab. So this is the project on GitHub we're going to be updating. This is the Ubuntu MATE Artwork package. So let's hop over to Visual Studio Code. I should have a current or old version of that checked out here. So let's just go. Oh, there we go. That's handy. Oh, and I did mention earlier, one of the reasons I haven't streamed for a while, new PC, not everything's configured yet. That's now enabled all of my extra stuff. So let's just make sure I've got the latest version of that, which I do. So the first thing we need to do is, because what we're going to do is we're going to add a new wallpaper for the 2104 series. So the code name is the Hirsute Hippo. So I'm going to find an appropriate initial wallpaper from everyone's favorite freely distributable high quality photograph website, which is unsplash.com. I wonder why some of these messages are being blocked. We'll just ignore that and hope that that's something somewhere doing the right thing. Good evening, Gabor, welcome. So the first thing we'll do is hop over here to Unsplash, and we'll just do a search for hippo and see what we find. Oh, that's a bit like the circle of friends. That could be a candidate, couldn't it? I'm not going to spend too long on this. I'm not going to spend like the next hour looking at pictures of hippos. Oh, this one's quite good too because there's green in it, and I do like a bit of green. Do I like that one or not? Maybe I do. Let's just grab that one as well for the moment. And any others? No, I think we'll just stop there. Right, so I really quite like that one. I think this may have to be the one we go with here. So we'll download the image. And oh gosh, that's opened in an awkward spot. I need to go onto a different virtual workspace. There we go. Right, so let me just copy that, and I'll just paste that in the appropriate spot. One moment. Development and Ubuntu MATE Artwork. So I'll just drag that down here now, so you can see where this is going to get deposited, because this is going to go into the folder. So on the wrong screen. So this is the hierarchy, and this package is simple because everything's laid out that reflects the file system. So all of the things are where you would expect them to, go on the file system when the files get installed. So the wallpapers tend to go in the backgrounds folder, and here they all are. So we will make a new folder in here. Is that up here? There's the one. No, what did that do? Opened a new tab. User, share, backgrounds, and now do that button there. There we go. So we'll do Ubuntu MATE, and then this code name is Hirsute. And we will paste this image in here, and we'll rename it. We'll just get rid of the thing here. We'll keep the name. Why not? That will. Hippos. Okay. So that's the very basic part. So we've added an image to the appropriate directory, and we'll just keep this file explorer handy because I imagine we may pop in here. Let's just make this a sensible size. Right then. So I'm not going to bother with any of the others. I kind of like the that is quite good though, that one. Maybe another day we'll come back and do more hippos. Now what we also need to do is we need to look up this person's details here, because we'll be needing this individual's details in order to update the Debian copyright file with the appropriate information later. So let's have a look. I see there's a couple of things in chat here. Yes, Unsplash is brilliant. I found out about Unsplash from Daniel Foray of Elementary. We were sat in a bar in New York, and I said, "Where do you get those lovely wallpapers for Elementary OS?" And he goes, "Oh, Unsplash." And ever since then, I've used it for stuff. It's also where Ubuntu Podcast gets its cover art from. Right then. Philip says, "Call shell prompt. Is it from the fish config?" Yes, it is. It's Shelder, which is a fish extension. So if you use Oh My Fish or something like that, just Oh My Fish install Shelder, Shelder, and you'll need a Powerline enabled font, of which there are Ubuntu versions. Right. Okay. So the Wimpy's World yellow names over the chat overlay don't line up on the left with the rest. Okay. Fine. Hey Big Pod, welcome to the stream. Right, so let's get on with the next bit then. Let's go and drop in here. So I've also got Git Kraken here. So let's go and on the right screen. This is such a pain. Let's go and open that project. So development, Ubuntu MATE Artwork. Okay, so you can see I have one unstaged file, which is our image here. What we'll do is we'll commit all of this together, but we'll drop in here. So the next thing to do is let's do it with the File Explorer, because I think maybe people will be able to follow along a bit easier with that. So again, we're now going to update user share, and we'll now find there is MATE background properties, and these are XML definitions to tell the wallpapers portfolio what wallpapers are available. So what did we have last time? Groovy. So let's just copy that and paste it and rename it to suit. And I'm gonna, oh, I haven't got the appropriate thing. I wonder if I can do this and view all, Visual Studio Code. There we go. Select. Right. So here's the one that we made, the XML for Groovy when we updated the Groovy wallpapers. So we only have one wallpaper, so I'll just remove this, and we'll call this Circle of Hippos, because, you know, similar to the Circle of Friends. It was a suit, and I can't remember what the actual name of the file was, so let's go and get that. Backgrounds, suit. My trick here is to do rename, then copy that into the buffer. So we'll take that as the name, and zoom is the sensible option to use here, and then we will add our creator's name, and I'm just looking for, there we go. So this was created by this individual. So we'll put that in here. Okay, so that is the file that will actually advertise that this wallpaper is available to the appearances control center applet. So Mr. Language is giving us some tips on where else we can get high quality artwork as well. So there's a couple there, Pixels and PX here, both no attribution. Yes, the no attribution thing I'll get to in a moment. There's I had to do some research on how you correctly attribute Unsplash images. I did this for the focal release for Ubuntu, because we included some Unsplash images in that for the first time. So I just went off earlier and found the license that I used for that. Evening, Paul. Yeah, Paul, how you doing? Right then, so that's that bit done. So next, well, in fact, let's update the copyright file now. So in our artwork package, there is a Debian folder, and this is where all of the files exist that actually sort of define what your Deb package will look like. So we will update the copyright file first, because why not? So let's just find Groovy. There's the last time we updated things with Groovy. So the way that copyright works is that you define the file that you want to reference here. And there's only one that we're updating, and then we'll add the copyright and the license. Now we need to go back and just pick a couple of things out here, don't we? So let's go back to this is the name of the copyright holder, so we'll put that in. And then we can even probably be a little more accurate. If we go back, we can probably find when this image was originally created. No, we can't. Oh, here we go, info. 2018. So you have the appropriate license there, and then the license that we're actually going to use in the copyright file is this one. Now normally when we get people to contribute artwork in the community, we ask them that they use a Creative Commons license, but the Unsplash artwork is effectively public domain, is sort of the closest approximation, and sort of the appropriate license that we have in the Debian world to sort of reflect that is this CC0. So hang on, I've managed to, there we go. So I now need to add this license. Now this is something you don't need to do every time. I'm going to add all of the words that join this license to the license file. So down the end here, after we've declared all of the files, one time we include each of the licenses. There's a whole bunch of words here, and this is the CC0 license that attributes that. And you'll find in here there's the various Creative Commons licenses and GPL for the various things that exist in this package. So the end of this copyright file is a lot of words, and the top half is where all of the and then I need to add the file name. It is where all of the actual references to the files exist. So let's take that and we'll just paste that on there. So or less to save even. So that's how we update a copyright file. So you can imagine that if you're actually updating a project that is, source code, and there's been a significant update between, releases, you'll find that there's new, source files in the package, and all of those need to be accounted for, including new contributors to existing source files. So updating the Debian copyright file is somewhere you will find yourself spending an awful lot of time. But this is how you can sort of introspect your system to determine how free software your computer, your operating system is. It's what tools like VRMS use, the virtual RMS, to sort of tell you how free your installed packages are. So there's our copyright file done. I'm just going to check back on my notes now to see what the next step should be. I think it's probably the install files. Okay, so again, this is a very simple Debian package, and in here you will see we have these .install files. So let's just copy one of those. We'll copy the Ubuntu wallpapers. Oop, I'm just going to put myself to one side for a moment. There we go. We'll take the Groovy one. Ubuntu. Why isn't that showing me? Oh, so I didn't actually change the directory. Right. So let's just copy the Groovy one over to Hirsute. And this is what instructs the deb package. So we saw we've got that file hierarchy. This is a bunch of simple file path matches and regular expressions if you want to get more complicated, that say find these files and put them in these places. So we've got that one. We'll update this install file, and we only have a couple of things that we need to update here. So I'll just move back to there. So we will say everything that is in this directory, user share backgrounds Ubuntu MATE Hirsute, should be part of the Ubuntu MATE wallpapers Hirsute install. And you'll see how we join this up in just a moment. And then we've got this one XML file, which is also part of this Hirsute series of wallpapers. So that's the install file. So that will instruct the deb package that if somebody installs Ubuntu MATE wallpapers -Hirsute, then the files found in these locations are the things that will be installed by the deb package. So how do we actually declare that this sub package Ubuntu MATE wallpapers Hirsute exists? And we do that through the control file, and there's a couple of things we're going to change in here. So the first is we have Ubuntu MATE wallpapers, which is the wallpaper package that the distro ships by default. So the first thing we're going to do is change Groovy to Hirsute here, because now we want the Hirsute wallpapers to be installed by default, not the Groovy wallpapers. And then we have this here, Ubuntu MATE wallpapers complete. And what we'll do here is we'll add Hirsute here as well. And that means that, if you're running Ubuntu MATE and you want to install every wallpaper that has ever existed in every release, then there's a meta package to do it for you, Ubuntu MATE wallpapers complete. So that still won't work, because when we go down further down this file, here is each release series by name. You will see, of course, that we don't have as yet a Hirsute package. So we're just going to copy this, and this will be the thing that defines the Hirsute package being available. And this is obviously for what will become Ubuntu MATE 2104. So we'll bump that there. And if I save that, I think that's it. I think that's everything we need to do in the control file. So this package stanza here declares our new sub package, Ubuntu MATE wallpapers Hirsute. And then this install file, which shares the same name, Ubuntu MATE wallpapers hirsute.install, this defines which files are part of that package. And then, the copyright file is entirely independent of the packages. It's just declaration of all of the files that are in this package overall. This is how they're licensed. So that is the nuts and bolts of the package itself. And at this point, we then move on to doing things like updating the change log. And before I get into that, I'm just going to take a little look in chat and make sure I've caught up with everyone. Hey Bill, welcome. That's fine. This is one of those ones that you asked for, actually, Bill. You know, going over some of the sort of, you know, the first steps in updating deb packages. Hey Joshua. Hey, it's me. How you doing? Yes, lots of metadata, right? You're not wrong. There's one space too much in the control file. Oh, I do love it when you lot give me pair programming assistance via the internet. Where have I done that? Are you talking about this space at the very beginning of the line here, Philip? If you are referring to that space, that's intentional. That's part of the format of a Debian package. So everything in the description following the first line needs to be indented by one space. And I think I've got some longer package descriptions further up here. Let's see if I can find one. Here we go. So this one here, and if you want a blank line on its own, that's how you do it. So everything prefixed with a space, and then the blank line is space dot on its own. Bit weird, but that's how it works. Hopefully that's the space that you're referring to. And if so, hopefully I've explained what that's for. What was a good idea from Baker Drinker? Could these steps be written down into a README for the wallpapers package? Yes, I'm thinking that we'll use this as a first round. We wanted to get something out for people, but yes, there's no reason why we can't create something to go along with this. I mean, I have some notes here, so maybe I can put that in the artwork package as an initial like seed of documentation. So with that, we will now. So I'm just going to show you. I'll just stick myself to one side a second. I'm just going to show you the top of the changelog file. So that is the last time I updated this package, and it was to add the groovy wallpapers. So the way we update this file, however, you can use a tool called DCH. So we are going to create a new version of this package, which is going to be 21.04, and I always start with .0, and we will say new wallpaper for the suit release. Okay, so if I now edit the changelog file, you will find that that has correctly formatted this for us. Now, if you were paying attention earlier in the stream, because this is a new machine, it asked me to enable some, I use a thing to manage environment variables. And one of the things I have declared in my shell environment is some environment variables called deb name and deb email and deb signing key and things like that. And these Debian packaging tools automatically use those environment variables to pre-fill things for you. So it knew what email address to put in here and what name and all the rest of it. And this says this is an unreleased thing, which it is. And in fact, what we're going to do is we're going to just, I always build and publish things in a PPA before I ever release things into the archive, just to make sure everything's fine. So we'll do that, and the unreleased, you change that to the series that you're targeting, which is Hirsute. So I think that's sufficient for a changelog entry. And now, so let me I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to copy this into my notes, because I think we're all agreed that Bacon Drinker's idea about capturing some notes for this stuff would be a good idea. So why not actually put that note in there about how we updated the changelog. And then I'll come back to the chat in just a moment, and then we'll create what's called a Debian source package. And this is so that the package can be either uploaded to the Ubuntu archive or the Debian archive. I mean, obviously these are Ubuntu MATE Artwork packages, so these packages only exist in Ubuntu. They don't exist in Debian. But we will now dpkg build package. There we go. That is my, if you're wondering why my command line is completing like this, it's because I use the fish shell and it remembers things for me. It's brilliant. It's a real time saver. As you grow more grey hairs, it becomes kind of an essential companion, in my opinion. Let's just bring the chat back up. So that's how I'm going to build a source package. So we'll just let that whir. This takes a little while to compose because there's obviously a history of wallpapers, and this is going to create a large compressed archive of everything that's existed. Whilst that's going, let's catch up in the chat here. Oh my gosh, I'm sure I don't look good on a 77-inch screen. Let's hope that isn't happening somewhere. Right. Yeah, a hirsute. I quite like it. A lot of people are calling it hairy because, you know, it's easier. Bill, Frank, it's my pleasure. I'm going to do some other ones along this line as well. Oh, and in fact, I don't know if you've seen that, but I've just been asked for my signing key. So that's signed that package. So that took a little while to compress that all up. And in fact, we could add an extra note here. You can do what's called a Lintian check to actually sort of give you an initial sanity check. And I'm just going to push myself to one side again. And I'll get rid of that. And this is how we do it. Ubuntu MATE Artwork. Underscore 21. 04 dot changes. So you will notice that this is referencing one directory back from where I am. So when you compose your deb packages, it puts the artifacts one directory down from where you're currently located. So I will put this in these notes that I am now collecting, and that is a fairly rigorous Lintian check, and this is only for a source package, but it still will potentially highlight things. So we'll run that, hoping that I've actually installed all of my Debian packaging tools. I think I have. Okay, and then there's some output here. So this is telling me like things that might not be right. Rules requires root missing. Okay. So that's telling me I could update my compatibility, which I'm not going to do at the moment. I don't want to get into any of that because this is a primer. It's not intended to get into all of this, but what I'm looking for is like it would tell me, for example, if I have my copyright file. In fact, here are some examples. Look, it's spotted that I haven't got a file listed in the copyright. I'm not going to deal with this today because I want this commit to just embody what we're working on, and I'm building this on Focal. So this is actually saying, what the heck is hirsute? I don't know what that is. Oh, okay, that's not a bad idea. Stuart, thank you for that. That's a good idea. So put info. I'm just copying this out of the chat window. One moment. So you're suggesting I use, instead of lowercase I, uppercase IE, that I use --info, --display info, and --display experimental, and then everything else is in long form as well. So in fact, if I then paste that into the live stream, I'll just stick myself to one side again. that would look like, oops, I'm in the wrong window. That would look like this is what you're suggesting, I believe. So thanks for that. That's a good idea. Right then. So now we've got our source package. I'll just do that. So we can now use a command called dput to upload that to a PPA. I'm just going to push myself to one side again. So we have, is play park the right one? It's playground, isn't it? Play park is the super experimental one. So dput is the thing that uses FTP effectively to upload source packages to either the Debian archive or the Ubuntu archive, or in this case to a PPA. So I've already got the credentials set up here, so it will authenticate me. And the playground PPA is where the Ubuntu MATE team find new packages and test the new stuff, and we make sure it's all fine and make sure it builds correctly. Now I'm hoping I haven't made any obvious mistakes with this, so we will upload that, and this will take a little while. And also I'm streaming and I'm uploading a big file, so that should be fun. But this will upload that to the PPA, and then it will start building it. Right, okay. So Wimpy's World, what theme is that I'm using in VS Code? This theme is rather brilliantly called Yaru. So there is a Yaru theme in the Visual Studio Code marketplace, and it has 3 variants. So yes, I highly recommend it. It fits in very well, I think. So that's uploaded. Yeah, the Yaru one is really good. I've used other Ubuntu-y ones before, but this Yaru one's the business. Yeah, it's a good suggestion, Language, thank you. Yes, so Big Pod, we'll get to the more complex stuff. So Big Pod has been contributing to Ubuntu MATE for a couple of months now, and you've been working on hooking up CI/CD to build the tip of Git of all of the MATE packages against the tip of Git of all of the equivalent Debian packages, so that we can have like a current build of master. And there's some rough edges in a few of the packages there we need to iron out. So with that, I think I can just hop over here. Let's oh, am I in the wrong window again? So let's so let's just go and take a look in my PPA where we submitted that, and we should notice at the very least that it's building. So let's view package details and then say in series Hasute. And here it is building away. So that will do its thing. And you're probably thinking, that's interesting. I've uploaded a package and it's just building for AMD64. There is nothing architecture specific in the artwork package. It's a bunch of pre-created assets. You know, it's CSS and images and SVG files. So there isn't anything that needs to be compiled for a processing architecture. So consequently, in fact, I can just show you something here. In the control file, we can specify which architecture this particular subpackage targets. So if you say all, that means this will work on all architectures without any special instructions. So it's just going to build on the AMD64 builder, because this is going to work anywhere. But you can, you will have packages sometimes where you'll need to say any, and that means it will work on anything, but you do have to build it on the architectures, on each of the architectures. So if you've got a package which is flagged as any, When that builds on Launchpad, it'll build for, you know, AMD 64 and the 2 ARM architectures and RISC and Power and S390X and all the rest of it. And if you've got something super specific, you can even do, you know, say, well, this really only works on AMD 64, for example. If it's like some of the emulators that use assembler, for example, are only designed for, you know, a single architecture. So that's going to build, and hopefully, Joshua, I've answered your question there. So there we go. That should build, and it'll take a little while. As you can see, it's a rather chunky package in that it's 124 megabytes. Now, that's not 124 megabytes on the image, because as you saw, we told the package just to install the stock images. So we have a standard set for Ubuntu Mate plus the Hirsute set. So it'll only be a couple of megabytes actually on the image. But if you installed all of those Ubuntu Mate wallpaper complete package, it would be 120 something megabytes of stuff. Yes, the Launchpad builders are pretty cool. When I think back to my days as an Arch Linux developer, all the packages in Arch are built on the developers' machines, and then the binary artifacts are then uploaded to the archive. So that obviously places a burden on each of the developers, because you've got to, and particularly if it's a big package, can you imagine if you're the guy that maintains Chromium or Firefox? I mean, that's going to be no fun. Yes, you can use Launchpad for CI, and in fact, that's exactly what BigPod has been working on. So that is actually kind of it, right? So I'll just go over what we did. We pulled down the source code for the, in fact, I'll tell you what, let's commit this. I have a high degree of confidence this is going to be fine. So let's just assume this is all going to work, because if it doesn't, it's no big deal. We can go and straighten it out after the fact. So let's just drop this here, because that's a suffix I use in the PPA. So we'll drop that, and then we'll go to Git Kraken. So here is the change log, and here's the control file. So we can see here that we dropped Groovy, we added Hirsute to the common packages, we added Hirsute and to the everything, and then added its own thing there. So we're going to stage that file. We want that. Obviously we want the copyright file. Files, don't commit that. It's cruft from the Debian build system. We obviously want this XML file, and we want the wallpaper itself and the XML file that defines what it is. So that's actually our change. I'm deliberately leaving the change log out for the moment. So we'll just call this add wallpaper from. So there we go, and we will save that. So that's that change. And then the way I would do this, I normally do this from the command line, so I'm going to go back there. I'm doing this in the GUI because I'm hoping that this will be more accessible, but I have a sort of particular format that I use here. And I will add the Debian change log. I'll just stick myself to one side, and then git commit and then I usually say upload, and this was 2104.0 Hirsute. And I'll just push that to the Git. And then if we go to the GitHub project, we can now see that those commits are there, and we can create a new release. So we'll draft a new release 2104.0 2104.0. There we go. Just accept that. And there we go. That's now created a tagged release on GitHub. And that is it. I mean, I could upload it to the archive. I will wait for the PPA build to conclude. And if there are any little issues, I'll iron those out and push those up. So let's just go back to the... here. So let's just make sure I've caught up on all of that. So we explained the architecture stuff. Oh, Joshua, you're just kidding. Okay, good. You were adding comments for dramatic effect, I assume. Very good. And I'm just going through. Yes, a big pod. Yes. What could possibly go wrong, right, Ferren? I mean, you know this. You've been doing this for a few years now. You know that trivial changes like that will not break anything ever, right? I think I did break the distro screwing up the wallpapers once. Monica, you are so funny. So Monica's asking if I could go over the roast potato recipe and method that we discussed on the most recent episode of Ubuntu podcast. And the answer is no. Just go and listen to that episode of Ubuntu podcast. And then take a look in my Twitter feed, because they're photographs of what it should look like when it's properly done. And that's kind of it. So I think, I mean, unless anyone's got any questions here, but if you've got any follow-on questions, then maybe we can head to Discord to follow all of that up. So I'm going to call it here, because I didn't want this to be a super long one, because I'm hoping it's going to be reference material. And I'll be talking to Monica and Bill about how we can take the notes I've captured here and maybe incorporate that into the packet, the Git repository in some way, in order to sort of capture the essence of this and link to this video as well. So we'll have the two. So any ideas what I should cook for dinner next week? Bacon Drinker says, well, with a name like Bacon Drinker, I think you should do one of my favourites, which is do some roast pork belly and a mushroom and sherry sauce. That always go, and with roast potatoes, in fact. There you go, the full thing. Yeah. Well, yes, I've had quite a few people ask about doing a cooking show. My wife has vetoed me putting all of the camera equipment in the kitchen, so I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. But I'm making cheesecake tomorrow, so you never know. Right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. I hope that was useful, particularly if you're like new to Debian packaging. And if you've got any follow-on questions, then I'll be in the Discord channel, which is linked in the description below, in about 2 or 3 minutes after this stream finishes. So I shall hopefully speak to you soon. Thank you all very much for coming, and I'll see you next time, which will be tomorrow. I'm going to do another one of these tomorrow sometime, so stay alert, subscribe, and all of that stuff. Bye for now.